Hi, I'm Kyle, and today I'm going to be talking about the weight-operated dump valve. I'm going to be going through the applications it's used in, the operation and function of the valve, as well as some troubleshooting. A lot of people refer to this valve as the treater valve because its most common application is use with a heater treater. So I still call it a heater treater valve. I know a lot of other people do, but I'll be referring to this valve as both a treater valve and a weight-operated dump valve. As I mentioned, and you can see it here on the screen, it's used most commonly on heater treaters for both the oil dump and the water dump. This valve can also be used on other liquid accumulating vessels, on gun barrels, and also in saltwater disposal applications. The reason for that being is it works well against a vacuum on the downstream side, and it does not allow a vacuum to be pulled and air to be pulled into the well that's on a vacuum. I'll talk more about the function here in a second and explain that a little bit further. The weight-operated dump valve works by there's an adjustable weight on the arm as upstream pressure and also the liquid head height push up on the main diaphragm inside of the valve. That's working against the weight that's on the arm. This is a balanced valve, which means the downstream pressure is balanced on the underneath side of the seat as well as on top of the balancing diaphragm. That's one of the reasons why it works really well in a saltwater disposal application, is because as that vacuum is pulling down on that seat, it's also pulling on the balancing diaphragm, pulling it up. So it's a balanced valve. So it doesn't matter what pressures, whether you have positive pressure or negative pressure on the downstream side, it's still going to function correctly. But depending on the position you have the weight on the arm, that determines what height of liquid you're holding inside of your vessel or the downcomer. As that liquid head builds, that plus the pressure of the operating pressure of the vessel helps to open the valve. Now, to get this valve to operate only off of the liquid head height, you have to balance the vessel pressure above and below the diaphragm as well. That's why we have this equalizing port. You can see the red area above the diaphragm. That's where you would put the gas equalizing line to, and that just balances the operating pressure. Let's say you have a heater treater at 30 pounds. You want that 30 pounds both above and below the main diaphragm. That way, the diaphragm is only sensing the liquid head height, and that's what opens and closes the valve. You can put multiple weights on these valves and also extend the length of the arm to increase the maximum liquid head height that you can hold. With a single weight in our standard arm, you can hold up to 4 feet. With a double weight and an extended arm, you can hold up to 12 feet. I've seen, people use a lot of different things to help weigh this down. Any weight or force that you add on this arm is going to increase the height of liquid in the downcomer or inside of the vessel. So just keep that in mind. This also has an adjustable packing, much like some of our other liquid dump valves, the mechanical or the lever-operated series. And so as that begins to wear or leak under normal use, you can tighten up that packing to then stop those leaks and continue operating the valve without having to completely replace the packing. One thing you want to keep in mind here is that you don't over-tighten the packing, because that can restrict the movement of the valve and keep it from operating as it should. A lot of the designs that we have, the new parts that we have put inside the treater valve, like the new shaft and the new hubs, take out a lot of the play with the older designs as well. So now it's a more robust, easier to repair valve if you do have to repair it. Another good feature of the treater valve is that you can manually open and close it if you're wanting to test its function or how it's sealing. You can just manually move the weight or the arm on the external of the valve. So you can get it to open and then to close. And you can just test the function of the whole system without having to manipulate anything else except the valve arm. Depending on the application you're using it in, we have different internals for this valve. You can get it with a steel seat or a Delrin seat. And so in saltwater applications, I would suggest going with, stainless steel, wooded parts, and then the Delrin seat. That's just going to help with corrosion. If you're using this, in maybe higher temp applications, you'll have to be careful with the Delrin. You don't want to go over, 180 degrees because then the Delrin begins to deform. But as long as your temperatures are below that, you can use the Delrin, and it'll help with that corrosion of the salt water and other things that are in there. We also offer a lot of different elastomer types for the treater valve. So if you're running into issues with the valve packing or maybe the diaphragms are failing, you can always switch up the elastomer type to fit your application. You can also get these valves coated. A lot of people get it coated with something that's going to help prevent that corrosion. I know a pain point is right at the sample connection. A lot of salt will accumulate there, and there could be a lot of corrosion on that port. That is just to put a ball valve where you can pull samples from the upstream side of the valve to, check BS&W levels, check the concentration of the water, make sure it's getting the proper separation, and you can do that for both the oil and the water side of the separation equipment that's being used on. Some troubleshooting things I want to cover right now. The main one that I see people doing incorrectly is the gas equalizing line. As I mentioned before, for this valve to operate correctly, the vessel pressure needs to be balanced above and below the main diaphragm in the treater valve. Now, if that, is off at all, if you've got 30 pounds of pressure underneath the diaphragm on the upstream side of the valve, and then there's a difference in the pressure that's on top of the diaphragm, that's going to start causing issues with the treater valve. The most ideal place to get that equalizing line from is a dedicated equalizing line from the top of the vessel that this piece of equipment is operating on. Typically you want to get it directly from the top of the heater treater. You don't really want to share the equalizing line with your burner supply line or another line, because as that burner kicks on, it's going to be drawing pressure away. And so there will be a difference between the pressure that's on the upstream side of the valve and then that gas equalizing line going to the top of the diaphragm. When that happens, you'll get the valve oscillating open and close really quickly. It won't be able to hold a consistent level in the downcomer or inside of the vessel. So ideally you want a dedicated gas equalizing line coming from the top of the heater treater or piece of equipment that you're using this on. You also want to avoid any droops in the gas equalizing line. Here's a few pictures of not ideal way to do it. You can see these copper tubing. There's some low spots where liquids might be able to collect. The picture is also an example of what not to do. So they are pulling their gas equalizing line from the same line that the burner is taking its fuel supply from. And you can see that the line gets stepped down from a 1 inch down to, it looks like, maybe 1/2 inch, and then even further down to 1/4 inch tubing. And so that's like a way of restricting that gas flow. So the pressure that the top of the treater valve is getting is going to be different from the pressure that's underneath, or the vessel pressure. And that's when you'll start getting issues. So you just want to make sure that your lines are run straight or going downhill towards the treater valve, because our treater valves also have little drip pots on them. And so that gives that liquid a place to collect, and you can drain them to make sure they stay clear, because you don't want liquid to build up on the top side of that diaphragm either. That could cause issues. So just make sure your lines are running straight, there's no low spots, and that you're getting that gas equalizing line from a spot that's going to have the exact same pressure as the vessel pressure. Another common issue that I see customers running into is that the treater valve is oversized for the amount of production that's going through the vessel. A lot of times, you will size for initial production that rapidly decreases, and then the valve is oversized. An oversized treater valve will be opening and closing quite a bit. It won't stay open. Its dump cycle won't be very long. Ideally, you want the treater valve to be throttling. So it's opening, it has, a longer dump cycle, and then it closes. If you see a lot of chattering, that's either the valve being oversized or it's unbalanced, like I talked about with the equalizing line. So just keep an eye out for that. Either it could be an oversized valve or it's unbalanced. If you guys want to leave comments below of different experiences you've had with the treater valve, or maybe some troubleshooting tips that you have found helpful, leave those in the comments. If you'd like more training, or maybe this type of training in person, visit our website and you can find a local Kimray store, and we'll come out to you, or you can come to the store to receive this type of training. Thank you again for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.